10 massive reasons to own Bitcoin in 2024 and truly beyond. I just tweeted this out earlier, and it was the realization that you someday get when you're studying Bitcoin, you own Bitcoin. When you're owning Bitcoin, you are incentivized to study it. Obviously, inherently, because you own something, you want to know it more. But the point you get to as a Bitcoin hodler, whatever you want to call it, when you realize that, oh, I'm not in this for fiat gains. I'm not in this for making more US trash tokens eventually, and I'm going to jump out of Bitcoin someday. You realize someday that I'm holding the hardest money, really the only money, pure money to ever exist in human history. You're never leaving that. There's no point. Why would you leave Bitcoin for the hardest money to ever exist into soft money, into trash tokens, into worthless fiat currency that's literally being eroded into nothing? I have the book around here somewhere. It's when Nations Fail, and it's the book about the Zimbabwe hyperinflation, the collapse that happened right in the '08 crash, actually, at that time, and it went to a hyperinflation. It took 20 to 30 years of just terrible, piss poor management and printing Social Security, entitlement spending and pensions, things that have been promised to the people, war, corrupt politicians. The same exact things are playing out now. I mean, it's literally like you're reading a history book of the United States of America, except it's in Zimbabwe. It was former, Rhodesia, which that's a whole nother video as to why it was called Rhodesia. And let's just say the British Crown has something to do with that. That's British Crown plays a little bit more into the world than the average person thinks. Let's just say that. That's a whole different story for a different day. But 10 massive reasons to hold pure money. Pure money. And you can see the actual write-up here and the 10 reasons in the link in the description here. At the very bottom of the Substack, it's our blog where you can see the written versions of these, and the video is posted in there as well. So let's dive into this. Let's call it what it is, not what you think it is. It is more. Bitcoin is much more than you think it is. The maverick, the rebel, the wild child that nobody quite understands, but everyone secretly wishes they had invested in. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see numbers like up 32% in the past month and up over 100% this year, which is what Bitcoin is, it's sure to light up even the most grouchy human beings. And again, those are things that you're not going to get in any other world. You're not going to get it in stocks. You're not going to get it in real estate unless you're doing certain things that take a lot of experience and education to get infinite returns and to refinance and do things. But most people cannot do those things, as I have experienced and I tried to help people with for 10 years. The average person is never going to do it, number one. And then even those that want to, a lot of them still can't. So that is one of the reasons why Bitcoin is soaring, because people realize, oh, I can just save money and get ahead in life. I can just save and become prosperous over time because there's a limited amount, a true limited amount set in digital code, in digital stone, period. Unlike fiat, which is debasing and going through the floor, 100% failure rate in all of human history. So the 10 reasons here, the perfect storm is brewing. Number one, mining hash is at all-time highs. All-time highs. The fundamentals never been strong. Even through the downturn of the fiat price a year ago, when it was at 15,000, 16,000, the fundamentals of Bitcoin had never been stronger, and people were adopting oil companies, energy companies. The fundamentals, the hash rate, the number of miners in the network just kept growing and growing and growing. Stronger than ever. Firing in all cylinders, and the network has never been stronger because of that. The strongest computer network to ever exist in human history because of those miners. Number two, Bitcoin spot ETF on the horizon. Again, I'm reading, so you'll see my eyes darting away a little bit here and there. I'm reading from some of my blog here. But if you want to see the full thing, please go check it out. The link in the description. After years of anticipation, a Bitcoin spot ETF is finally on the brink of approval. This ETF is the golden ticket to institutional acceptance. In other words, the big players are about to join the game. Number three, the FASB accounting rules favoring Bitcoin. Hold on to your balance sheets, folks. FASB, the Financial Accounting Standards Board, is changing its rules, and they're leaning towards being Bitcoin friendly. That's great news for companies holding Bitcoin in their portfolios, and anyone holding Bitcoin, obviously. So that's another massive reason that more companies are going to get in, because the accounting rules are changing. People have been waiting for this. Number four, companies have been waiting for this. Number four, Larry Fink's blessing. BlackRock's big cheese, Larry Fink. Like him, love him, or hate him, which, I don't have many kind of things to say about him, but two things can be true. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Amidst chaos, he praised Bitcoin's recent price move as a flight to quality. It's what Bitcoiners who have understood Bitcoin for the last 10, 12 years have been saying the entire time. guys, hello, fiat currencies are garbage. This is the flight to quality. The true, pure money, this is the only flight to quality. That's like having your sternest teacher nodding in approval. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. And the rest of the people are going to take notice. They have to. The institutions, the endowments, pensions, insurance companies, they are on notice. They are taking notice because they see what's happening here. The most pristine collateral is starting to eat away at every other asset, as it has the last 14 years. Number 5, global chaos. If there's ever been a perfect backdrop for Bitcoin's rise, it's the chaos unfolding across the world. Geopolitical tensions, economic uncertainty, and a general sense of unpredictability are all contributing to Bitcoin's allure as a safe haven asset, if I could speak. Number 6, Fed's Balancing Act. If you're into financial astrology, which I am not. I could care less what Jerome Powell and these morons are doing at the Federal Reserve and central banks all across the world, because they are the problem. However, there are many that do, and whether I like it or not, much of the world is predicated off of what they do. The stars are aligning, though, for sound money advocates, for people that like freedom, liberty, and prosperity for 8 billion people. For that side of the equation, we are, again, winning. Many experts are foreseeing that the Fed will have to expand their balance sheet in 2024. Could be 2025, but a lot of people are predicting recession next year. What's that got to do with Bitcoin, you ask? Well, a booming Fed balance sheet, usually that M2, the global currency supply expanding, usually means huge bullish things for Bitcoin as Bitcoin sucks up the liquidity as interest rates go back down. Number seven, hodlers love. Those who firmly grip their Bitcoin with diamond hands are in control. A whopping 70% of the Bitcoin supply hasn't moved in a year. These folks are committed. Unlike people with fiat, no one's holding or gripping their fiat with diamond hands because fiat's worthless. But Bitcoin, you do. And we've talked about this many times of why people say, well then, how is the economy going to work if people are just going to hold on to it all the time? People are selling Bitcoin all the time. That's why the price isn't at 10 million already or $1 billion fiat dollars per Bitcoin, because people are selling. There's selling pressure. Miners are selling their Bitcoin. Holders that got in 10 years ago or 5 years ago, they're selling their Bitcoin. There's this equilibrium the free market finds that people are going to, I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin, but someday I probably will lend against it, or I might sell some eventually 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, whatever it is, when I want to go buy an estate, a compound, a ranch, a couple trucks, or whatever it is, some assets. I want to go buy some other assets that are now priced well, some real estate, or some dividend paying stocks, or something to that nature that's going to provide me passive income. It's going to provide me residual income, we'll say, and it's priced at a fair level at that point. I don't want to buy when it's overvalued like right now. I'm going to hold the hardest asset and wait till these other things become more fairly valued, at least in Bitcoin terms. So this is a huge one. So that's why in a deflationary world, people are always going to spend their money because people want to spend. Why? There's many books out there you can read. People love spending money. We all love spending money. I'm conservative by nature, but I still love spending money. So I'm still going to spend my money over time just because it's deflationary and it accrues value over time. That means the rest of what I have, the part I didn't sell, the part that Bitcoin I didn't get rid of or spend, it's still going to increase in value over time. So that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin, is it aligns all incentives, and you see this all coming together as everything is aligned by the deflationary nature of the world we'll be living in, captured by Bitcoin. That's the beautiful part. In an inflationary world, you have to get rid of your dollars as fast as possible. You've got to become an investment banker just to figure out what's going on, because you can't save money. You lose if you save any of the currency. So you have to go try to find these crazy things and dog tokens and JPEGs and real estate and doing insurance things. And you got to do all these different financial arbitrage just to become someone who's staying afloat. 5%, 4, 5, 6, 7%, and just staying afloat. That's just breaking even in inflation. So that's why we Bitcoin. That's why I've changed everything in my life to start talking about sound money and education, history, and Bitcoin, because it is the path forward for 8 billion people. It's the best path we have by far. There is no better path. So when you find the best path, you become very incentivized and seeing it. Wow, if I don't talk about this and tell people about this, then I'm sinning, quite frankly. I'm not doing the God's will for me, and I'm not doing what I'm called to do. That is a true feeling that I've had for many years now, and that's why I've changed what I'm doing, and that's why I'm here. So it's a mission much greater than myself. It's like I just said, I'm not here to buy 9 Lamborghinis with my fiat gains and transfer my pure money into garbage US trash tokens. That's not what a true Bitcoiner is here to do. That's what Moon Boy's crypto world is here to do, but they don't get it. Right? People in Bitcoin generally are the ones who would get it. There's Bitcoin and there's crypto, and they're not the same. The Bitcoin halving, number 8. In less than 6 months, April 2024, approximately, Bitcoin is going to experience a halving. And it's when mining rewards get cut in half. So supply and demand are going to be in effect big time. So it's a built-in marketing technique. But someone just asked this as well, isn't that bad when the mining rewards get cut in half? Because why? That's not going to incentivize miners to want to do anything. And that's a phenomenal question. So the Bitcoin halving means there's less and less supply out there in the world. That means it's getting rarer and rarer and rarer. It's going to take more and more time to get the remaining million tokens out on the market. Actually, the next 100 years. So people are going to be fighting over what's left, right? There's only 21 million Bitcoin in the world, ever. And each one of those can be divided into 100 million Satoshis, which is what people will generally be using. They won't be talking about Bitcoin in the future. They'll be talking about Satoshis or Sats. And there's 42 million millionaires. So 42 million millionaires have to fight over 21 million Bitcoin. And that leaves what? So again, a lot of those millionaires aren't going to get into Bitcoin early. They're not going to figure it out. So again, people get Bitcoin at the price they deserve, but the mining rewards getting cut in half make Bitcoin rare. But as more people join the network, the mining fees go up as well. So the beautiful part about Bitcoin is it's incentivized to keep the mining network going, even when the mining reward, the subsidy, is cut to nothing in 2140, 100 years from now. Even when there's no Bitcoin subsidy anymore, the mining fees will be so high, and people will have, but again, remember, your Bitcoin will be that much more valuable as well. So in comparison, your Bitcoin fee, if you're on the main chain, which most people won't be on the main chain, there'll be side chains, and there'll be layer 2s and 3s and things of that nature, which people are using, and the things will get settled eventually on the main chain. But your price you pay will be a fraction of that. And again, if you're holding Bitcoin, your life gets cheaper and your value of your Bitcoin goes up. So the mining fees you're paying in relation aren't as much. Now, you could get into a lot of technical aspects of that, obviously, and get into the numbers, but that's not the point here. Just suffice it to say that, obviously, this is something that people have game theoried out many times over, and it's played out that way over the last 14 years. So this has happened where there were no mining fees, in essence, and there was very little going on, and now it's climbed over time, and this network is still working as designed. The difficulty adjustments, everything working beautifully as time goes on. Will there be things to fix and little improvements here and there? Yeah, of course. But the system is set up that way to work with the halving and with the difficulty adjustments, and work into the future with the mining subsidy and the fees that are associated with it to incentivize the miners to continue running the network. Not to mention, if you're holding Bitcoin yourself, you want the network to exist. So there'll be many people mining Bitcoin. There's many people mining Bitcoin right now at a loss or break even, just because they want to uphold the purest money of integrity there is. So that is a huge incentive in and of itself, to be outside of a system that enslaves you. The fiat system with bonds and the bond market and the central banks and the things we have now, that's an enslavement system. And that's what is causing so much of the ills of our society right now. So people will go run at a loss, or they will run at break even, just to have a system where the people are in control and not governments. So that has to be said as well. That is a very important point in all of this. Number 9, conserving the environment. The fall of the fake ESG initiatives, and just like many of these people, BlackRock, etc., pulling out, all this propaganda for those at the top, coupled with the rise in Bitcoin mining, is quickly becoming the fastest way to securing electrical grids and truly cleaning up the environment. This super power of Bitcoin has not even begun to seep into the mainstream yet. This is going to blow people away. The mining part of this is going to blow people's minds. And we haven't even seen the surface of what it's going to do to literally change Earth. And this is going to blow people's minds. Again, not to get into that here today. Number 10, dictators, despots, and tyrants. Justin Trudeau censored bank accounts and orange-pilled millions of people in 2022. Elizabeth Warren continues to come after Bitcoin along the lines of, gotta save the people from themselves, and money laundering, and this and that. Hello, the dollar is used for the most money laundering there is. The governments, you people, are the ones, the source of the most money laundering. These attacks from politicians who don't respect your freedom create more marketing material for the sound money as they ramp up their anger. All things are good for Bitcoin, as Bitcoiners say. All things are good for Bitcoin. All roads lead to Bitcoin. It's a beautiful part of it. When money is easy to make, societies break. 2024 is shaping up to be the perfect storm for Bitcoin. The time to accumulate cheap sats are certainly dwindling as the days tick by. But as with all financial adventures, a word of caution is in order. Bitcoin is still young and volatile as the money is adopted around the world. The waters might be choppy, but the potential rewards, well, they're enough to make even the boldest investors grin. Yes, they are there. The separation of money and state is upon us, closing the wealth gap. Bringing property rights, liberty, and wealth to 8 billion people isn't easy. Ridding ourselves of a revolving door of politics, ending endless wars of the bankers, currency, printer. The alternative is to choose to stay on fiat currencies that debase your livelihood at the best and promote war and destruction at worst. You don't believe me? Trust, but verify. I'm just reporting what I've witnessed and experienced over the past 15 years. Stay strong. So I hope that gives you some insight into what's coming in the future here. And that's not reasons to own it just next year, but get into it soon before things really start to ramp up and the fiat price starts to ramp up and people start jumping in, because it will happen. But then you start realizing, I'm holding the most pristine asset. Why would I get into anything else? As this asset literally changes the world and becomes the new system. This system will become the new system. Mark my words. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Question everything boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust but verify. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice. And please share this out, because the algorithm hates truth and cannot stand things like this. So we need everyone, the community, to share these things out and to talk about them so we can forward adoption and we can have a system that is fair and just for all people and equitable. And we don't have our overlords at the top making every decision for us, because that is the path we're on now. Are we going to choose CBDCs and slavery, the path we're on, or are we going to choose Bitcoin and freedom? I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.